welcome to Healing Powers TV. I'm your host, Laura Powers, and I'm pleased today to have Paula Vaughan, who is a spiritual counselor and psychic, with us today. I asked Paula to come on the show to talk about what she does and how we can all get access to our guides, angels, and spirits that are here to help us. So thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
I'd love it if you just start out with talking about what you do and how the process works.
Oh, okay. I get in touch with guides and angels that are around my clients, and start off with a little prayer, then get in touch with the guides and angels, and then I bring in, or I don't do anything, I just sit and breathe, but I get in touch with them, and I do that by getting pictures and hearing. I do a lot of hearing, pictures and hearing, and then feelings. And the angels come in, and it's really funny because the archangels always wear different colors. It's kind of like Paula needs a billboard so we can see what it looks like, but they'll wear different colors. And if they're trying to tell me about there's heart energy or something else going on, they'll wear green, or sometimes it's white for spiritual energy, or it's pink, or it's yellow or something. But it's always telling me something about what's going on with them and what they wear. But the angels come in, and I usually start with archangels if they're in the room, because they always get to go first, and they're big, they fill up the whole room. And then the guardian angels are always, and archangels are very selective, I don't get them all the time, but the guardian angels are always with the people, and they stand beside them. And they're usually very demonstrative in that they'll stand in front, hold out a hand, they'll stand behind, they'll sometimes play with the hair, but in some way make a movement or something to let me know what they're doing, and then they start talking and telling me about what's going on. And a lot of times it just, I can feel the energy come in, and it kind of amps up, but the client feels so much better. It just kind of relaxes, and it's very comforting. And that's how I get in touch with it. I have a little rule that I use. So I breathe. I breathe once, twice, and by the third time I'm breathing out, I have to start talking. Because the longer you wait, I get into the left brain, which doesn't work so well. So if I just breathe 3 times and just go, something comes out, and I never know what it is. And it comes out, and we just kind of go with the flow with that. Guides come in after angels, spirit guides, and then a lot of times I have people that come that want to talk to departed souls. Those are the ones that passed over. And I usually have them say the name 3 times. I don't know why it works that way for me, but it does. So it's say the full name 3 times, and then that one appears to me in usually a visual form. Mainly because if they want to show me something, if it's a man wearing a hat or a funny colored tie or something, because that's some way that the client will recognize something. Right. So I always go with what I get. Sometimes I have to put that left brain way behind me and go with what I get, because that doesn't always make sense. But anyway, and then that's how they come in, and that's how I get in touch with them.
That's great. So you brought up an interesting point, which is you know, the left brain jumping in and sometimes trying to distract you from this kind of work. I believe that everyone has some kind of ability or access to intuition. What do you think about that, and how can people connect with that on their own? Yes,
left brain will trip me up a lot. But I do believe everybody has this intuition. I always say it's like listening to the radio and it's on channel 13. You haven't ever turned to 13, so you don't know that 13's there. But every once in a while, 13 comes burping in. Most people have had some intuitive experiences at some time. And, you know, oh gosh, I wish I'd done that. You know, something's little voice told me to do that, and I didn't do it. Gee whiz. And we sort of remember the times we didn't use it more than the times we did use it. And so I find that just getting quiet and listening and paying attention to the voice. Edgar Casey, I trained with at the Casey Center. Edgar Casey used to say, the more you use, the more you get. The more you use, the more you get. So I find that. So the more I use that intuitive, so, you know, do this or don't do that, or that intuition thing, the more I use it, the more information that I get using it. Most people, almost 99%, will say, I wish I had done, wish they had listened to. More than not listening to. But we all get that, and I love to practice intuition. It's really kind of fun. But you know, one of the ways that kind of is like sharpening a pencil. Now right then, I just saw a picture of sharpening a pencil, so that's why I use those words, because I talk in pictures, because I get pictures. But it's like sharpening the pencil. Is you know, hearing the phone ring and think, oh boy, that feels like Aunt Susie's calling. I have to say, and it is Aunt Susie. You know, so remembering that, kind of tuning into. Or, you know, we all have this, we're driving down the road or something, you start thinking about, gee, I wonder what Susie Q's doing. And then you'll hear from Susie later in the day. We'll call you. So it's about paying attention. Oh, I was beaming, I was getting the information. It's about paying attention because the angels tell me they send the answers down at least 100 times for every question that we ask.
Wow.
But we're not listening. We told you that yesterday. But we're not listening. So we miss a lot of that. So,
Right.
but the answers are there. It's about paying attention that's important. It's about paying attention.
So you said that the angels send us the answers 100 times in
For
answer
every
to
question.
prayer. So that's amazing to me. How do they do that? What kinds of ways do they
Oh,
use
there's
to
many,
communicate?
many ways to do it. A lot of times, and I bet you do this too, Laura, is that you'll hear a song playing in your head, but you only hear like 3 words of the
Yeah.
song.
Oh, yes.
And it plays
That does
over and
happen.
over. Now, if you'll go back, that's an intuitive thing. You know, intuition is flashes that are coming between thoughts if they can get a word in there. It's getting a flash in there. So if you go back and pay attention, what are those words asking? What questions was I asking yesterday? Because those are answers coming through. Those are answers coming at us. Sometimes, and I'll do this, I'll say, well, you know, I've got to figure out and I've got to know such and such, but I need it by 6 o'clock tonight because I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can be standing in the line at the grocery store and over here somebody talking over here that has the answer to the question that I needed by 6 o'clock tonight. So it's about paying attention to, I ask, that was my intention, and I'm getting the answers. Paying attention. Intuition is there all the time. You know who our best psychics are? The very best psychics are all the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. No, they don't use that word. No,
I no doubt it, yeah.
they don't. But they are the very best, and they will go in. You know, there's too much information to read and to gather all this information. They'll go and say, something's not working here, something's not right, going with my gut. Nope, start over, we're going to do it again. This is not right. But they go with that, and they take risk-taking over and over and over. They'll take a risk, they'll change this, that, but something's not right. That just, it's not right. So they're the ones that are really good ones because they're the ones that call those things and follow through on them.
That's interesting,
At
and
a
I bet
really
a lot
major
of
level.
times it's not even conscious. Like they're just doing it unconsciously and don't realize that they're even necessarily accessing something that's not, you know, logical.
Right. I always relate, intuition is like you're standing in front of the computer, all of a sudden you move over here and your elbow hits a key and something comes up. And that's when the intuition comes up. What you do when you have, when you're paying attention and conscious and training and going into it, then you know that you can press a key and get the answer here. Press the key. And that's what developing intuition is, learning how to do, is to go straight to it and get the answer when you need it.
So you can
Not being so random.
yeah. So you can get intuitive flashes sort of as something that just pops into your head or overhearing something or a song.
And you can consciously ask for it.
Okay.
I need help. Help! I need help. Please send me figure out how to figure this one out. I don't get it. You ask for it.
So if you feel like
you know how you GET, you ASK.
Okay, so important in life, right?
So easy to forget.
Yeah. And if you don't feel like, let's say you've asked and you don't feel like you're getting answers you understand, can you ask for a specific sign or, you know, because I think that's happened to me sometimes where I have asked for guidance, but I'm sure I'm probably getting something that I'm not interpreting
and
that
then
way.
we do this a lot. We go, oh, that can't be right. So, you know, the first impression, oh, no, that's not right. So our left brain gets in there and kind of judges and decides that this isn't the right size, and we go back and we do it. Oh, yeah, I do it in my mind. I do it this way. I just kind of see a blackboard being erased, and okay, now show me the answer.
Okay.
And I kind of erase it and go to, because then, and going back to it, but we all are very intuitive. We are all very intuitive. And I think we do a lot of use our intuition naturally, and I'm sure you've done this a lot, Laura. You go into a room with people you don't know, sometimes you don't know a lot of people. You intuitively pick people that feel good.
Yeah.
You intuitively people that you would be interested in. I used to do this with my ex-husband, but I used to go into these big parties. We had to go to a lot of big parties, and I would say, you know, I want to meet someone who's interested in spiritual guidance and these spiritual things. And I'd be at a medical meeting.
Yeah.
Now, let's make it hard.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I timed it within 15 minutes. I would be having a conversation with somebody that I really didn't know very well, but she was, or didn't know at all, got introduced to, and somehow I got into that. And it used to be, how fast can we do this? And we used to talk about it on the way there. Are you going to do that stuff again today? Well, you know, it just came up. We'd be sitting in so-and-so at a table, and somebody else would be talking, and before we knew it, we'd be into that stuff. So it's kind of interesting, but I always have that intention to meet them.
When I go to an event and try to figure out where to sit, I'll just kind of ask for direction as for where a good place for me to sit will be. And it's never failed me in the sense of I usually end up sitting next to someone that, you know, I need to connect with, or it's just a good seat for visuals or for something, you
For
know?
some reason, you need to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it fun?
It is, it's great.
It makes it a lot more interesting, especially if it's a dull meeting.
Yes.
Make it a lot more interesting. So you were asking about angels earlier.
Yes.
We haven't talked about angels so much. Angels are all around us. Everybody has a guardian angels. Angel around us. There are archangels too that also come in. They're big. They fill up the whole room. And then I also get in touch with guides and spirit guides as well as departed souls. Now, a lot of people have had experience with someone passing, and or a spouse or a loved one or something like grandmother coming back. Will have a sense of feeling that they're in the room with them, or that they're back, or that they can almost see them. Sometimes even they see them almost out of the corner of their eyes. They come through, but having that feeling, which is the first part of that, is getting in touch with it. So I always say, talk to them, tell them what you need. You know, just speak it up with them. A lot of times. I feel the veil between the two worlds is getting thinner and thinner and thinner each day, and so it's easy to come back and forth. But you know, it's like the fan. When they pass, you know, we can see the blades of the fan, but when you turn the fan on, you can't see the blades, but you know the blades are there because the wind's coming through. Yeah. And that's what it feels like to me when people pass over. They become like the blade going really fast, so I can't see them so much physically, but I can feel them coming through.
Oh, that's a nice
and so I think most of us have that.
Yeah.
If you're open to it, have that. I've talked to a lot of people that work in hospice and stuff, when people pass over. Sometimes they can even feel the room filling up with the angels coming in. A lot of times right before people pass over, they're interested in talking to Aunt Susie or a brother over here, people that already passed over. They start, I call it visiting in both worlds, visiting back and forth, and that happens a lot. Kind of interesting. But if you're paying attention, again, this is about paying attention and conscious of it, then instead of saying, no, Aunt Susie Q died 2 years ago, you go into, okay, you know, so Aunt Susie's here. I bet that feels good to visit with Aunt Susie again.
Yeah.
You know, and so you go in and accept it. But I feel like they can have their feet in both worlds until they pass. And then when they come, dreams are another easy way that they come through. Especially departed souls and stuff. And a lot of times in dreams, they'll come through and you'll be like walking in a building and they're just standing there. And it's kind of like that's how they make the intro. And then later on you may have dreams where you're interacting and talking to them, but it lets you know they're okay. And they tell me all the time that that's the easiest way to get in. You're asleep. The left brain is turned off. Yeah. We can get in the door and let you know we're okay. A lot of times, and most of the times, when you see them coming back, they're not like they were when they passed on, like in bed sick with cancer. They are coming back in like the way they looked at 40 or 50. They usually try to find prime time for a body to show me and help, but to let you know that that's gone, that part of it's gone, and moving on.
Yeah, because when you're on the other side of, from what I've read, that you have the ability to show yourself how you want to, so then, you know, why would you show yourself in a poor state?
Going out.
Yeah.
That's such a not important part.
Yeah, it's great. I love that idea that you could just imagine what you want to be and you are.